Hello, chat. Hello. Welcome back to me writing a spoopy story for the Creepcast subreddit. Yes, we're going to be writing a creepy story and continuing. I did have two really good ideas for the story going forward. Let me just display one. So I'm going to be swapping over to like a second draft type deal on this because I had the first draft and everything. I ended it, let's see, to recap, people go out in the woods Bigfoot hunting, they spot a Bigfoot, they realize they don't have the gun on them, MC ends up running back to the hippie van to find the gun, can't find it, and then one of both his friends run back screaming, and then one of his friends ends up getting attacked by a giant spider that pretends to be Bigfoot. Yes. What the fuck is that? OBS is showing. What? Chat rate 1? Where is the chat? What? Current viewers 0, chat rate 1, viewers 0. What? What is the chat rate? I have no idea what the fuck that even is. Anyway. Other than that. So I had two ideas. I had two big ideas. First of all, I kind of want them... Why is that zooming in? Instead of having the original thing where I was going to have him just show up at like, what is it, Kennewick? It's not Kennewick. Plan is to Kenneth Washington. Okay, Kenneth Washington. Instead of just doing a made-up location of somewhere off in like Kenneth Washington, a made-up location, I had an idea to completely instead, do this thing where they're actually they end up camping out here north of Wapaloozie Horse Campground on Wapaloozie Mountain, and then the valley they end up trying to trek through is the Hoodoo Canyon between King Mountain and Grays Mountain. So they end up here. Then, or should they be north of here? Let's do, actually, instead. Let's actually have them camp out somewhere off of the road up here. Then, after they get attacked by the first giant spider, they end up going back down the trail in the early morning before it's actually light out. It's still dark out, but they end up fetching the keys and some camping equipment. And they tried to come out down, and instead of taking a left here on Albion Road, he goes into the Dead Man's Creek Road. And he goes boop, 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 boop. And eventually, since they have multiple flats, they end up completely breaking down at like King Creek. Do I want King Creek? Yeah, the car ends up breaking down at, I'd say just past Camp Creek. No, I want them more recessed into the valley, so let's go with King Creek. They end up breaking down just after King Creek here. And then that's where they end up... I don't want this timeline to span out because this is like kind of a short area. This is a short area. Ooh, or I could just go further out. Midget Creek. I imagine Honor and Isaiah would have fun with Midget Creek. But yeah, this area seems really sparse. Because yeah, I think this is a wildfire area. Yeah. I kind of want to base it around like an actual area because like Copper Butte and everything, it's kind of close to Kettle Falls. So it's not that insane of a hike to go whoop. I want it to be like a 2-day hike out. Because they go out, camper breaks down, they try to hike out, then they have to stay overnight. They get attacked by another spider in the middle of the night when Xander falls unconscious while on, or he just like falls asleep while he's on watch duty, and then he has to. Our main character has to mag dump into a spider. Then after that, they do like a collected thing where they meet up at the spider corpse, or they track down the spider corpse based on a blood trail, and then they have to figure out. Okay, they recollect and are like, okay, we have to go through this valley, avoiding the river and avoiding the highlands, just up on the like the left side or the north side. That's why I kind of like this, the King Mountain and Graves Mountain range, of them going kind of up the slope here, trying to avoid the Dead Man's Creek, and then they encounter another one. They end up sprinting down towards the creek. Xander gets got. Or Xander initially shoves him, and then our MC just lays down. Xander gets got, and he watches him get eaten alive on the riverbank or the creek bed. And then our MC goes up to Old North, this area. I'm thinking of the last place he ends up with a like cabin with the spider nesting underneath it. That's going to be a made-up trailhead. So I was thinking of something like Bailey Trailhead. There's some other thing up here. Where is it? There's like Bailey Creek. Up here, there being like a Bailey Creek or something on the base of Jackknife Mountain that he tries to get to. And then when he finally gets in there, that's where he finds out, oh, I'm in a cabin, and then, or I'm in this like trailhead cabin kind of thing. And then he opens the book, flips through it, or he opens the hiking journal, flips through it. There's that message: get out, the spider's nest is underneath the cabin, run. And he looks at a window, there's the spider staring at him. He holds the door closed. It doesn't really want to destroy the cabin getting at him, so it just decides to wait it out outside and wait for him to get so dehydrated he collapses and he can't fight back when it tries to kill him. I decided that cabin is going to be somewhere up here on Jackknife Mountain. But it's gonna be made up. It's gonna be completely made up. Ooh, the Betty Trailhead. Should I do? No, I don't want to do Davis Lake Campground. Let's do Merkel Trailhead. Let's label the changes. Okay, so Merkel Trailhead is the cabin at the end. Wapaloozie Horse Campground. Does that actually be like a really fun thing to try and do? Either if this gets like really massive online or something like that, to try and actually do I don't even know if you're like allowed to access this road, the Deadman Creek Road. I don't know if you're allowed to access that or if that's just like a Department of Fish and Wildlife slash Forest Service road, where you're not actually allowed to access it or not. But yeah, it'd be fun to do like a hike all around King Mountain, and then just do this. I could actually. I had the fun idea to change the names around to like add in the MC's name as being like Big Tuna Smalls, Big Tuna, and then have like Xander call him Biggie later on. So he's like a 300-pound Samoan guy who's just like Big Tuna Smalls, and this like 300-pound fucking Samoan has to walk all around King Mountain here, just until the trailhead because he's just like this severely overweight Bigfoot hunter. That'd actually be kind of fun. That'd be kind of fun. Say to like, if it gets really big online, just like do the actual like trailhead walk. To do the actual walk around King Mountain, just off trail, just hiking all the way through until you get somewhere around where they should end up. But yeah, this is the valley I decided on because it kind of fits with Deadman's Creek being at the base here. So they're gonna go kind of off-road up here and then try to loop into here and try to go somewhere around here. Find out, what did I name the trailhead? Merkle Trailhead. Merkle Trailhead, which is the made-up cabin that should be somewhere around here in this valley. I've never actually been up here, so I don't actually know the terrain, so I'm going to be making up all this shit talking about the terrain. But I just figured that'd be like an interesting thing to add in where you can actually follow the path that they walk on Google Maps and say like, oh, it's only like a 4-hour walk. What are you doing? It's only a 4-hour walk. What? Why are you spending multiple days out here in the woods? Actually, I did think North Fork. Actually, wait. Doing North Fork. If we did North Fork, Deadman's Creek, the Jackknife Mountain, ooh, or is this Midget Creek, the South Fork Boulder Creek. They could also do this one and try to get around Jackknife Mountain. Oh, that's why it's called Jackknife Mountain, because it does this fucking jackknife. Ooh. Ooh, I'm just looking at that, and that is a very... Ooh. Ooh, that is a dirty-ass river. Orient. Straight north to Orient. That's actually a much more difficult trail to stay up on US Mountain and then take it around to Jackknife Mountain and up into Orient. That'd actually be a much more interesting trail. Ooh, wait a minute. But how would I justify him not going straight here to Kettle Falls and instead trying to go here? Yeah, let's have him be recessed more. Okay, let's do here. Okay, South Fork, Boulder Creek. Let's label that. Let's label that. This is way too much logistical research into where people are counting out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere to like do a little like fun integration where people might be able to like try and follow the trail up into Orient. Because that's just like a fun thing that it's completely and totally fucking unnecessary, but I just want to add it. Just for me, like just for fun. Like it's just to leave it open. Ooh, I'm fucking with the mic, but oh. Oh god. It's going everywhere. It's just for me to add it in for future content and potentiality for people to have fun. I just realized I have all my bookups up here and there's like porn and sex toys right here. Just on screen the entire time. I didn't even realize those were up there. I don't care. Fuck it. I'm a gooner. Fuck you. But yeah, that's just like a fun thing to add in. Going... Yeah, them camping out, you know, kind of towards Sickman Trail, South Fork, Boulder Creek. They camp out in like a clearing next to the road by South Fork, Boulder Creek, and then they just try to drive out by South Fork, Boulder Creek Road. When they break down, they end up having to camp out. Because, yeah, I think that would be a much... Yeah, if you did, like, here. Boop. South Fork, Boulder Creek, and then here. There'll be... Just go over here. Ah, shit, that'd only be 5 hours? That'd barely be any more. It'd only be 6 hours. That's a real problem with trying to have directionality and people knowing where they're going. You only really need, unless you're like completely bumfuck fucking lost in the woods. Like it only really takes like a day for you to hike out. It takes like not even a full day, like half a day until you reach another town. Like you can get from bumfuck nowhere camping out in the woods, broken down car nowhere, and then just like within 12 hours you can be in town again. That's one of the logistical problems with like all of the stories and shit and creepypastas online, is that realistically if you look at fucking anywhere, there is nowhere you can go where you can't just like hike. So long as you are aware of where you are and you're not just like going around in circles all day, if you just go in a straight direction, you will hit a road or a town within a day. Just within a fucking day. And there are so many fucking roads and everything where it's like, yeah, in the middle of this area, okay, I just go this way and then I meet you at the road. There's like nowhere I can actually go. There's nowhere I can have this setting end up where it's like realistically it's going to take 2 days of hiking to actually go this trail. Even if you're on like the Appalachian Trail, if you just like turn left and go west off of the go west off trail, within like 6 hours you can hit a town. Even the most remote fucking trails and trail lines, they have to like route around on ridges and shit to like purposely avoid going too close to a town. You're like, even on the hardest fucking trails in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, it's like, it's guaranteed within 12-hour hike from civilization, as long as you know where the fuck you're going. I think I will stick with this one. Them going from a clearing near Stickman Trail and trying to hike out around Jackknife Mountain. But should he know Davis Lake Campground is there? Or he'd avoid going too high up the slope because he does think that this is a this is an area. Unlike Profanity Peak. Should I do north? Taylor Ridge. I kind of like the idea of them going south. South off trail following the road, or they could just do north on here, Copper Butte to try to get to Boyd's. There's no good area. The Profanity Trailhead. Yeah. Let's do it at the base of the mountain. Camp out at the base of Mount Leona, and then they hike out following along Jackknife Mountain. To somewhere up here. That takes them an entire day of like trekking. Oh no, should I do... I kind of like my initial idea, Z-Horse Campground. Around through Hoodoo Canyon. Oh no, that's actually a great idea. I just accidentally did that on maps. This would be actually a great. This would be a great fuck up on their part to actually have this happen. Where they come in from Kettle Falls, come up here, and then they go straight north, and they end up camping out near Stickpin Trail. He tried after the van blows all of its tires, getting like clawed at by the thing. He ends up just driving straight south and breaks down near US Mountain Trail 76. And after they break down, they figure that the best way out, since everything happens like to this side, here to Curlew Lake, they think, okay, the best way out is to hike straight through the valley between Cave and Graves Mountain. I think that's actually a better, more realistic judgment on their part to like try and drive out to here, then have the car break down, and then they try to hike out through this intersection instead of going straight down into the Sherman's Pass. Boop. Instead of going straight down the Sherman's Pass, they go right. So yeah, they leave, or no, I should have it hang out until morning. Afternoon, they try to putt down here. Towards the evening, they go here, so they have to camp out around Camp Creek. They have to camp out right here at the end of the first day. Then they have the whole incident where they end up shooting out. Okay, so camp starts at around Stickpin Trail. Okay, leave and car breaks down around the old Stagecoach Horse Camp. That's the right one, right? Yeah, it's the old stage. Let's have it break down there. That way it's like more realistic than hiking. No, let's have it break down yeah, halfway between the old Stagecoach Horse Camp and US Mountain Trail. Nah, let's do US Mountain Trail. US Mountain Trail 76. That's 71, right? Yeah, Stickpin Trail 71, US Mountain Trail 76. trying to think how they would reasonably react to the map. I want it to seem like really realistic on how they're reacting and planning stuff out. Why would they go here instead of going straight down to Sherman's Pass? Why would they go here instead of going straight down to Sherman's Pass? Why would they go here instead of straight down to Sherman's Pass? And to flag down a car. Unless it's just a completely wrong turn. Yeah, just like this. They make a wrong turn and go down Dead Man's Creek Road. It can just pretty easily be just like a wrong turn where they're already hiking. Or unfortunately, I can do the old horse camp, the old stage horse camp. The old stage horse camp. Okay, make a wrong turn down Dead Man's Creek Road. Okay, so they make a wrong turn down Dead Man's Creek Road at this fork. They're supposed to go less down Albion Hill Road. They end up going down Dead Man's Creek. And then it isn't until after they check the maps and everything after the Ooh, yeah, it's getting into evening before they get there, and then he thinks that there should be Wapaloozie Horse Campground nearby. MC thinks Wapaloozie should be nearby and keeps hiking through the dark until giving up and camping in a field off of the road. Booter attack. Okay, then they Glock the spooter, and then double checks map and figures out they are way off trail, and then maneuvers through valley. Okay, so yeah, that'd be a great thing for them to like end up probably like wandering off to here, trying to look for the fucking campground, and then they're kind of just like without much direction, just wandering up and down the hills and shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Because yeah, it wouldn't be like a straight line. This is assuming that they go on road for 7 hours. 20 miles. Fucking off trail. And 20 miles off trail hiking through the wood, through unfamiliar woods. Trying to just stay semi up the slope of King Mountain, doing like little weaves and shit. Yeah, I'd imagine you could probably get lost. I'm obviously like pulling hairs here. I just said if you just pick a direction and go, you might be able to make it for like multiple days. You might be able to make it to civilization in 12 hours. I'm trying to make up an excuse for why they'd spent that long, 2 days lost on this single fucking mountain. This one mountain that I can like hike 360 around in half a day. I could probably do a circle within like 12 hours. Jesus. But yeah, they end up spend an unrealistically long time on the side of King Mountain trying to proceed through Hoodoo Canyon. And then yeah, they end up making it to Merkle Trailhead. Is this a lake? What is this ravine? Ravine? Is that just like, I think that's just like straight up a fucking cliff. Boop boop. I think that's straight up like a cliff. It just shows up as like a ravine. Like it's flat up to here and then it's just like hard elevation and then it goes. So whoop whoop whoop. Because I noticed that when I was driving through some other passes, there's some like fucking cliffs. That's another thing that I don't like, is it doesn't really show good like elevation changes on maps. Okay, so that's the entire like actual trip planned out. That's the entire trip right here. They're gonna go from way up in the bumfuck nowhere near Stickpin Trail, and then they're gonna go drive down, break down after the old stage horse camp. And it's like, okay, we should be able to walk down the Wapaloozie horse campground and make it there before dark. They end up taking too long to get there. He makes a fucking wrong turn. They end up wandering around in the dark for a while, and then they're like, okay, fuck it, we can't wander around forever. Let's set up camp in a field off trail, off the road. Set up camp. The spider attack happens in the middle of the night. They kill the spider, follow its blood trail, end up losing the road and have to like climb further uphill into a clearing where they can actually like see clearly out. Then they figure out roughly where they are and how they're going to be proceeding. They decide to follow along, kind of to go back down. So yeah, it's kind of like goes here, spend the night here, then they go up here, figure out where they are, go back down kind of halfway between the peak and the creek, and then they go back. So there's a ton of time wasted the second day just figuring out where the fuck they are. And then they end up trying to hike out around here. Here's probably where the second spider attack happens. And then he manages to make it on, or no, I'd say around here is where the second spider attack happens. I might even be able to use this cliff. Like around this fucking cliff at Hoodoo Canyon Trail. It's a, oh yeah, we could have the MC roll down this fucking cliff. And then it sprints down the tree line and gets Xander like around here. And then he's like on this cliffside in some bushes, just trying to stay still, and then he watches Xander gets eaten alive. And then yeah, after Xander gets eaten, he makes it here around the nightfall, and then that's when the ending part happens. I think that makes a reasonable amount of sense. Considering the realistic time scale, that makes a realistic amount of sense. If you wanted to follow the exact trail that they do inside the film, or inside the short story. Because that's just something I want to do for me in case it really picks up or anything, or you know, if later on I want to do like a video or anything doing the same trail that they took or some shit. That'd be like fun content later on. that I can set up now planning out the story. It's probably not actually going to go anywhere, but that's just something I want to like establish for future content and future ideas and leave open for people to do if they wanted to. I know it's probably not going to be that good. It's probably not going to be that good, but in case, you know, somebody wants to do like a longer form video or like a higher effort video or some shit, they can just totally do, they can totally go in and do that. I think it's a fun idea, a fun concept. Okay, and I'm gonna play like the fucking audio music library from. Oh shit, does this have like a decibel filter on it where it can't cover it if it's not loud enough? I don't have my stream pulled up on my phone, so I can't actually check or anything. What the fuck are you? What did I just find on my desk? I'm pretty sure this is like some chicken stuff. Here, let me throw it away. Okay, I found a big black like chrysalis thing, and I'm like, is this a fucking dead spider or some shit? Did a dead spider like shed molt underneath, or did a spider fucking molt underneath my keyboard? And then it's like, no, it's probably because I made some chicken earlier. I made some like baked seasoned chicken. I think it's just some like baked seasoning from the chicken that ended up coming off while I was eating at my desk. Okay, so yeah, that's it. They end up at Markle Trailhead at the end. Camp starts around Sickman Trail 71. Leave and car breaks down around Z Old Storage Horse Camp. Make a wrong turn down Dead Man's Creek Road. MC thinks Rockpalooza should be nearby and keeps hiking through the dark until they give up and camp in a field off road. Spider attacks, double checks map figures out there way off trail, maneuvers through the valley. Through Hoodoo Canyon. Okay, now I can start second draft. I realized that there was this entire thing here where I was doing first draft. I'm not even gonna bother like completing this first draft because there's just like so much other shit I want to like set up now while the iron's hot with my second draft. So this is kind of like my entire creative process. Is I will create part of a story and I come up with better ideas for how I was just writing it that I can like interlace later on, and then I'll just like go back and rewrite it, and I'll do like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th drafts, slowly progressing further and further into the story to where the last leg of the story is the first draft, but the first leg is on its like 13th draft where I've rewritten it like 13 fucking times. Oh god. Okay, so yeah, August 14th, 2023. 14th, 2023. Let's do. Oh my god, it's Times New Roman. Where the ooh, let's do Roboto. 2023. Tuna Looney. Where's Roboto? Roboto. Okay. Okay, my story started on 4th of July this year. A set of women's clothes were found and reported by the local police by some kids out celebrating in the woods. Clothes looked like they were violently torn out, some shredded and covered in a good amount of blood. The local police needed a potential victim to start an investigation of the scene, and in absence of such, were bureaucratically barred from so much as testing the blood samples. Now, most people would chalk the scene up to a pretty obvious no-no and homicide out in the middle of the woods. But I knew the truth. I knew exactly what went down the moment I heard the story on the news. It was a Bigfoot attack. Bigfoot are known to strip the victims that they carried a corpse back to their den. They're the only animals behind the Homo sapiens that are known to field dress prey. After you confirmed the information, let's see here. So it'd be Kevin Winters, Xander. I'm so tempted to say Xander Cage. Xander Cotton. And myself. Big Tuna Looney. Kevin Winters, Xander Cotton, and myself, Big Tuna Looney, made plans for an expedition into the wilderness just outside of Kettle Falls, Washington. It's just north of Coffee Butte. That made it excellent. I barely had enough time off to cover a 6-day camping expedition. Around Midnight Mountain. Just north of Midnight and US Mountain. The Midnight and US Mountains. How would I say it? Between US Mountain and Profanity Peak. I always go for the one with the audio. I always click on the tab with audio in it. Profanity Peak, that made for excellent Bigfoot country. I barely had enough time to cover a 6-day camping expedition. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We all over your cabin set for van that started an 11-hour drive. No. Okay. Stop in Kettle Falls to make sure the van filled to the brim with fresh gas before leaving for another hour or so. Was filled to the brim with fresh gas before leaving for another hour or so through the roof back room. Okay. We are loading up our gear into Kevin's hippie van and started an 11-hour drive by GPS from Casper, Wyoming, all the way over. With brakes, it rounded out to about 20 hours. We made a short stop in Kettle Falls to make sure the van was filled to the brim with fresh gas before leaving for another hour or so through the rough back roads deep into the northwest wilderness. Steep slopes close off either side of us as we turned off of what was the pass? It was Sherman Pass. Wapalooza. And ooh. Steep slopes of Scar and King Mountain. Closed off the skyline on either side. Horizon as we weaved turned on pass and began weaving our way slowly, weaving our way steadily into the deep backcountry. Of the northwest of the northwestern thickets. Into how would I describe a mountain range? Into the fathomless, to the furrows and peaks. Northwestern wilderness. Okay. The steep slopes of Scar and King Mountain closed off the skyline on the side of our horizon and was turned off Sherman Pass and began weaving our way steadily into the furrows and peaks of the northwestern wilderness. I need to shorten my fucking sentences. My sentences run so goddamn long. Holy shit. It was It was well after 7 p.m. by the time we had made it to our planned campsite. Clearing visible by GPS. Nestled in the valley between U.S. Mountain and Profanity Peak. Just off Stickpin Trail 71. What tab am I clicking? This one. Oh, there's tabs here and there's tabs here. I'm getting confused on what tabs to click. Just off Stickpin Trail. It wasn't dark yet, but we agreed. Focus on setting up the bare minimum of sleeping arrangements and I'm kind of vibing out to the music right here. Oh, this is nice music. I like this. What music is this? Groove by Diala? Ooh, I like this. I like that a lot. I kind of wish I had a actual avatar so you can see me moving my shoulders in. Oh, this is a nice move. I like it. I like this beat. Ooh, I feel it. I'm a little bit tipsy. I can feel it. I feel it. You know, bare minimum of sleeping arrangements and to on supper before it got too dark out. Alright, count. Setting up our trail cams and other hunting gear. Wait until early in the morning. I, sir, as shit didn't want to be trolloping through the woods or trying a tent and Trisha didn't want to be trolloping through the woods or trying to set up a tent in it. in pitch black. By a lantern light. Ba 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 ba. The last leg of fortunately tense. Did run into the early of the night. Did it early as night. I had help Kevin his rain cover by lantern light while Xander was getting a campfire started. There we go. Oh yeah. We had to put off setting up the until tomorrow morning, until the morning after. Nobody was keen on wandering the woods at wandering around the woods close to midnight. In Bigfoot country. So we started up on Suffolk instead. Tripping supper instead. Beans and franks. Might seem pretty basic, but after what felt like forever consuming lukewarm gas for food and a single plainfully mid-Denny's Grand Slam, charred weenies and hot hickory beans tasted like heaven. I still really like that paragraph. Beans and Franks. It might seem pretty basic, but after what felt like forever consuming low-pro gas station food in a single, painfully mid-James Grand Slam, charred weenies and hot beans tasted like heaven. That is a run-on sentence, but I like run-on sentences. Fuck you. That's just how I write. I had so many run-on sentences, it is insane. Like, all my sentences are run-on sentences. Honestly, I can't even. What we talked about while enjoying. Ooh, this is a great part for him to be like super pessimistic about. It was like, that's like the last good memory this guy has of him and his friends being out here camping and having fun. And then just everything went to shit. He watches his friend die like an hour after this happens. Not even an hour, like 30 minutes after this memory. And then Xander ends up fucking him over and gets like eaten alive right in front of him. Like the next day after that. And then like, yeah, like literally 2 days after that, he's writing this suicide note basically. This is a great thing for him to be pessimistic and reminiscing about, and you don't fully realize it until like your second read through. Enjoying dinner. We're enjoying. I should have paid more attention. I should have paid more attention. I should have committed the last happy man. My friends and I. To memory. I should have committed the last happy memory my friends and I had together in memory. But it's gone. What? Why is it trying to erase to memory? But it's gone. I just didn't appreciate the moment enough. While it was happening. Oh, ooh! I mean, this might be something that I come back to and like change out, but that like point of reminiscence where he's just remembering, he's writing this basically suicide note. He's remembering the last happy moment he had together with his friends was when they were eating like beans and franks by the campfire and just fucking around, and he can't remember what they were even talking about. Like he wasn't paying enough attention. He doesn't remember what they were saying. He remembers every other detail of it, but like the last time he was like happy and enjoying and spending time with his friends, he can't remember it. That's like the only not terrible part of this story that happened, and he can't remember it clearly. He remembers the fucking Dog shit drive over. He remembers all the details about his friends getting eaten alive in front of him, but he can't remember the last time they were actually happy and enjoying the time together. Oh, that is a hard thing to reminisce about, especially on like second read. Just like paying attention to that, and it's like, oh shit, that actually hits like way harder. Ooh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ah. Turn in for the night. After a bit. If I can fucking spell, what the fuck after a bit? Douse the fire. Non potable water. And an extra helping of dirt. Clambering into my tent. I was absolutely exhausted from the over and desperate. To let the where is sleepy? Slumbers, dozing, not a yawning, resting, slumnet, asleep, slumbering, drowsy, slumbers, dormant, dozing. Ooh, sluggish. Lethargic. Ooh, torpid. Yeah, let's do torpid. Torpid. Torpid premises of my floofy bedroll wash over me. Okay, so yeah, now we're getting into the actual thing. I compressed it down to 2 pages. Ooh. That is until I heard the knocking. Pulse through camp like a ooh. Conjuration of panic. Do I want to say conjuration of panic? Scarify. Ooh, Conjuration of Distress. I heard the knocking pulls through camp like a conjuration. Thunderous echoes. Reverberated. Body and I. And I was almost instantly outside of my tent. Gawking at the dark. Gawking into the dark. The dark in the direction of the sound. Like an excited child. Xander and Kevin. Fixated on the source with knocking. It made five slow beats before a long pause. Long pause. Preluded another rhythmic set. Of concussions. Preluded what? Okay. The second set started. Started into a flurry. I started up my electric lantern. That had just recently been doused. Unzipped my equipment bag. Bag. The equipment bag. And bag set beside my bedroll. my bedroll. I had every piece of equipment. The persistent memorized, so I was inside the tent with my handheld thermal camera. Powered on and ready to go in a matter of seconds. Do 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 do. A bed like what this is. Okay. Oh, I don't like things with lyrics on it. Okay. Powered on and ready to go. Okay. Just the second set started into a flurry motion. Started up my I started up my electric lantern and just recently been doused and unzipped the equipment bags outside by my bedroll. I had every piece of recording equipment and their position memorized, so I was back outside with the tent with my handheld camera powered on and ready to go in a matter of seconds. Didn't have a Okay, Xander of course didn't have a recording camera, so he pulled out his own. Ready with his a dedicated recording camera, so he was already set up with his phone. By the time I was ready, Kevin hour. That is fun and infuriating. Through his mass luggage, extracting a beat up grammar from the second double. He checked. He'd look up every now and then. He'd glance up. Glance up every now and then while frantically rummaging. With exasperated hurry the fuck up. Hurry the fuck up. Honestly don't know how to... Bubble move them. I invested in a vision camera. I'm invested in a backup night vision camera. Just to avoid relying on Kevin and his pigsty. And his... pigsty. The pigsty he called the organization. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. I already got 3 pages. Okay. So, yeah, I think the second draft definitely flows with better. Alright, just as seconds started, we started into floor immersion. I started up my electric lantern that had just recently been doused and unzipped the equipment bag set beside my bedroll. I had a piece of recording equipment and a position memorized, so I was back outside the tent with a handheld thermal camera powered on and ready to go in a matter of seconds. Then, of course, didn't have any dedicated recording equipment. Didn't have a dedicated recording camera, so he was already ready with his phone by the time I was ready to roll out. Kevin, however, had to spend an infuriating amount of time rummaging through his mess of luggage before extracting a beat-up night vision camera from the second duffel bag he checked. He glanced up every now and then, and while frantically rummaging, and Zender and I would respond with exasperated hand waves to tell him to hurry the fuck up. Honestly, don't know how this was such a common problem with him. I really should have invested in a backup night vision camera just to avoid relying on Kevin and his pigsty, and the pigsty he called it organization. Okay. Once ready, took the lead. For guiding the group. Through the northwest jungle. Should I actually? I just realized I was gonna have that like adage of like it's sometimes it's easier to crawl on your belly under the underbrush rather than try to push through and inevitably end up climbing over. But he's writing this in a trail journal in the middle of the inland northwest. That doesn't make any contextual sense. Ooh, thankfully. Pretty massive. In this area a few years back. So we're still recovering. From the clearing out. Instead of crawling on our bellies, through an absolute wall of pine and spruce. That means we could comfortably crouch walk. Tall grass. And around the forming. And around the forming grows. Towards the origin of the wood knocking. Do. Okay. I totally got in the group to the northwest home. Thankfully, there had been a pretty massive forest fire in this area a few years back, so the woodland was still recovering from the damage. Instead of crawling our bellies through an absolute wall of pine and spruce saplings, we could comfortably push rock through the tall grass and around the forming groves towards the origin of wood knocking. Okay, I need to go get a drink. Yeah. Alright. Okay. Ugh. Oh, sorry, I farted into the beat. I don't know if that picked up on yet on recording. Alright. Around the former groves towards the origin of the wood knocking. Xander stayed pretty high to me, following the light. LCD screen. Well, a bit trailed a bit for a bit. Be in frame. Should anything worth posting happen? Yeah, this doesn't make much sense. I don't know if that should be its own paragraph. Our way. Sound of the knocking growing loud enough that I could feel the impact reverberate through my picking my camera just over. Incline. Breath caught as a large red spotch. I could excitement just as much as and the display. Back out of the site. Potentially... I slowly lowered my camera back out of sight to prevent potentially spooking the Sasquatch. Thermal wasn't... didn't... Didn't have enough fidelity. Okay, my cheapest someone didn't have a fast food for Big Fun Online, but would definitely be clear enough to be definitive. Definitive. Okay. So I want my camera back out of sight to prevent potentially spooking the Sasquatch. My cheap ass thermal didn't have enough fidelity to pass the proof of Bigfoot online, but Kevin's night vision would definitely be clear enough to be definitive. Turn to Kevin. Making out features of his face. Gray light of his camera. Display screen. Let's bro forward for a second. Go up a bit closer. And whispered indignant. I really like this. I think this is a good thing. Gun night is back. Kevin was the only one in the group that owned a firearm, a 45 Colt revolver that I was very proud of bragging about shooting. Since Kevin wanted to be a cameraman on this trip, we had agreed previously that I, the guy with the fuzzy ass thermal, would be the one armed. I wanted to have the gun on hand before Kevin kept enemy for a clean shot of Sasquatch. We were already way too close for Kevin to safely get Bigfoot on camera and doubly so for his response. I don't have it, he whispered. What? I couldn't find it. Kevin's reply was barely audible between the titanic slamming wood on the only 40 feet away from us. What the fuck do you mean you couldn't find it? Well, how did Bigfoot and you didn't bring the gun? I was trying so hard to raise my voice loud enough for Bigfoot to hear it. You arrested me. I couldn't find it and you arrested me, so I left it. What if it's a bear? I asked, popping to be a little too hard for comfort. I don't know. You're rushing me, Kevin said. Oh my fucking god. I let out more of an exasperated sigh than actual words. Okay. Stay here. Show as much on camera as you can. I'm gonna go get the gun, okay? Oh boy. Was that somebody hitting a bong? Yep, that was somebody hitting a bong. What the fuck? I'm surprised that the YouTube audio library has like somebody hitting a bong as an audio file. Deflected blue globe. Speeding up my crossword considerably once I felt I was out of earshot of a Sasquatch. And hit back to camp. Once I had a idea of where the creature was. Where the creature is was considerably then creeping towards it. On a discovery adventure. Okay. Okay, so I corrected. So I had a good idea of what the creature was considerably faster than creeping towards it on a discovery adventure. Okay, well, it corrects it to was. I didn't want to put a was because it seems kind of silly, but fuck it. It wants to correct it to it, I'll just let it. As close enough to make them both nodding in the reflected bluish glow of the thermal canvas LCD. Made my way slowly back towards the camp, speeding up my crouch walk. Considerably once I felt I was out of earshot of Sasquatch. Bringing back to camp once I had a good idea of where the creature was considerably faster than creeping towards it on a discovery adventure. Made a beeline for Kevin's camp, which was Kevin's was the only one with the electric left on at full brightness. I want to like hammer home that like Kevin is like an absolute fucking slob. he he doesn't have any like delicacy with it where he like turns it on low heat and then he rubs it around. He's like, oh no, my shit's like a fucking mess. He's basically like a personification of Asmongold as a Bigfoot hunter. He's just like no delicacy with like turning it barely on so that he has just enough light to see so he can rummage around. He's like, no, let's just turn it on. It's either zero or it's full. There's no in between. Connects it up to full. Fucks around in his bag trying to find his camera. It's a total fucking mess in there. So he finally fishes it out, and then he just like rushes out and like why isn't anything playing? There you go. Let's wait, what is this? Attribution information in your video description. Ooh. So I have to add the oh no. Did I miss some? Where's Funky? I don't think any of them had CC. Alright. There you go. Okay, there we go. Okay, set it up as nice reason not required and exactly okay. I made a beeline for Kevin's hand, which is the only one with the electric lanterns left on at full brightness. Then we're still open. As well as Bay, as well as Walters. As well as both the duffels he was using for equipment. Equipment and clothing. Equipment and personal. So I got right to work. Rummaging. They're the first one. Okay. So I got right to work rummaging through the first one. Okay, so green as well. There we go. Mixed into camera equipment passively. Toiletries like scent eliminators and bug spray. Scent eliminators, bug spray, and soap. I quickly gave up on. Let's go. Oh, they have Mozart 38 in D minor. Okay. Okay. I sent the camera equipment and toiletries like scent eliminators, bug spray, and soap. I quickly gave up on to just dumped it out. It's on top of Kevin's bedroll. More toiletries, a random selfie stick. No gun. Dumped out the next bag on top. First pile and began shifting through it. And began shifting through it. 2, 3, 4. Two, three, four cooking cans of bug spray. Clothing, dry shampoo. Extra camera batteries. let's see here. I've at first I was certain that the weapon was there somewhere, but I quickly yeah, when it wasn't. To just throwing shit around the tent. I quickly, okay, when it wasn't, I quickly resorted to just throwing shit because I really like this. I dumped out the second bag and started shuffling through the mess. At first I was methodical, sure that was in there somewhere. When it wasn't, I quickly began throwing shit around the tent, frantically trying to fight the reality of the situation. Desperately, trying frantically to fight the reality, the situation. It wasn't there. Should I do present or past tense? I think I'll do present. Slowly lower my camera back to the side for a minute. Push restriction. Keep it some of that. Make sure the future. Yeah, I think I'll do first person here. It wasn't here. The gun was a fucking. Gun wasn't. The gun wasn't in the fucking bags. Noise. I want to clear that. Can I clear it? Can't clear it. Okay, it wasn't here. The gun wasn't in the fucking bag. Okay, I'm just worried that I had something that is CC. Or I have to attribute. playing the last like 30 songs I listened to at the start there before I realized that there are different license types. I'm just worried. I already have 2 stuff turned on. What are you talking about? Gun wasn't in the fucking bags. Let's see here. Okay, dumped out the next bag on top of the first pile and began shifting through it. 2, 3, 4 cans of fucking bug spray, more random articles of clothing, dry shampoo, extra camera batteries. First I was methodical, certain no weapons was in here somewhere. When it wasn't, I quickly resorted to just throwing shit around his head, trying frantically to fight the reality of the situation. It wasn't here. The gun wasn't in the fucking bags. Then I heard the screaming. Okay, I'm gonna do that up to here. Okay, it started out. Done it. Well, but the phone sounded like they were successfully running away from the dead. I started screaming. Okay, I leapt. And started screaming their names as well to help to guide them back to camp. Looking around, I spotted a big stick designer had been used to fuck around with fire earlier. To get me, I got back to the van. Despite it being locked, the latch on the sliding door is pretty easy to force open if you twist it right, so I preemptively opened the back of the van for them once they got to me. Obviously wouldn't do an incredible amount to protect us from a Sasquatch or a bear, but some sheet metal would do better than nothing. Xander made it to the lantern light first. I could see the white of his eyes before any other part of him escaped. Leaking out of Kevin's sent first. You see the whites of his eyes before any other part of him to skip the abyss surrounding camp. He made a beeline straight for me, closet over and over again. Where's Kev? I tried to ask as he ran at me and dived into the van. He grabbed the inside of hand and started to roll the door close on me until I put one leg in the block and forced it back open with both hands. Starting to hold his response up to him, just panicking, ask him again, much louder, where the fuck is Kevin? He's gone, Xander. Hurry up and get inside. It's coming. Xander tried to grab my shirt and pull me inside the van with him, but I resisted. His claims of giving me gone were pretty easily disproved by the fact that I could still hear him shouting. I turned away from Xander for a moment and began shouting for Kevin again, something that panicked Xander to the point that he leaned out and started grabbing my face and telling me to shut up in a hushed voice. I slapped him off and gave him a pretty hard shove deeper into the van before I started to call Kevin again, this time unimpeded. Kevin came into view, and a few moments after that, he came into the light. He was covered from head to toe in muddled leaves. Camera nowhere in sight, desperately sprinted towards me with every bit of force his body could muster. Time seemed to slow down to a molasses crawl as I stared into his eyes. Every fiber of my being mirrored the indescribable terror burned into his expression. Just behind Kevin, slowly becoming illuminated by the soft glow of our camp lights, 2 massive chelicerae, gigantic arachnoid fangs, each longer and thicker than my calf, shattered out of a nightmare and plunged deep into my friend's shoulder. Ooh, noise. And Kevin was wrenched down and begun by the innominable force of a gigantic thundering camp of seals. 6 long-inch fangs punched through his neck and collarbone. Do 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 do. A gigantic spider spider. Sections long fangs punched through his neck into goblin and slammed into the ground. Three feet across. On paper, but the thing's legs spanned at least at least 12 feet wide. A tore someone else on the paper, but the thing's like spanned at least 12 feet wide. It felt like seeing a rhino. A moose. That moose gore someone to in front of me. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so 2 hours in, I've kind of reached the same point I was at. I added a little bit more, just Control C, Control V, a lot of the first draft stuff, specifically the dialogue. I think it flows a lot better. I have a lot better plan for how it's going to progress. This is a good second draft. This is a good, clean, nice second draft for it. Okay, a 3-foot torso might not seem like much on paper, but the thing's leg span at least 12 feet wide. I felt like I was seeing a moose gore someone to death right in front of me. Would have dived into the van right then and there. But the fighting man. I tried to stand my ground at least a little bit. I raised the stick. And let out the hardest war cry. I can muster. I was really hoping a 300-pound screaming Samoan being intimidating. The scare off 400 something. Some bad arachnid. Is that how you spell Samoan? Let me double check. Samoan Island country, South Pacific, Polynesian next group. Yeah. Polynesian culture study and trade, while they share some similarities in terms of language, location, and culture practices. Okay. Because I've met a few Samoans. I've like worked with a couple Samoans, but like they've all been like massively fat. My identification of Samoan is not like, you know, thin or muscly boys. My idea of Samoans is like 300-pound plus, because like every Samoan I've interacted with has been massively overweight. 300 pounds screaming Samoan would be intimidating enough to scare off 400 pounds of arachnid. It wasn't. I wasn't. The moment I took steps towards the nightmare, promptly withdrew. Ranks from. Oh, I did that thing. Ugh. It's. Possessive doesn't have the hyphen when you're taking it. Withdraws ranks from. And. Spasmed. It's. Towards me in a single. Single what? What do I do? Single. How do? What's a synonym for powerful? Powerful. What is portent? I just realized portent. Believing to be a sign of warning of a future event. Ooh, oh, that's the, ooh, I like portent. Something believed to be a sign of warning of a future event. Ooh, that's a good replacement synonym. Instead of potent, I could portent or powerful. I could say portent. Portent motion. Oh, even if you don't know what portent means. Ooh. Its body to face me. A single portent motion. Portent spat. Yeah, portent motion. Oh. Okay, yeah, stream is stopped. I was terrified the stream was like already owed. Something like fucked up happened the stream where it just like disappeared. My OBS completely disappeared from my task manager and I had to I had to try and like open it up again just because it's like, oh god. The exact same thing happened like yesterday when I was trying to stream. It was supposed to be like an update that's supposed to fix like crashing with YouTube Studio, but for some reason it's just still crashing. It's so randomly. Before it didn't randomly crash like in the middle of stream, it'd crash on startup. Now it's not crashing on startup, but it's like randomly crashing when I click over onto stream. If I like click over on my other monitor OBS, sometimes it'll just randomly crash and I have to like try and open it real quick to keep it stream running. That's awful. That's awful. Alright. I was a moment I took us up towards the nightmare, promptly withdrew his strength from his neck and spasmed his body to face me in a single important motion. Made in instantaneous lunge forward. Then another. Quickly dissolved my war cry. A terrified shriek. I backpedaled. Ooh. Let's see here. Okay, his fangs. I don't want to say spasms. Twitched threateningly. Four-legs shot skyward. So far over my head. Completely. Field of vision. Well, like shot skyward so far over my head that the hips completely up. Made an instant legend. Now, I was quickly dissolved my war cries are terrified. I backpedaled. Through the stick. In a panic. Help drag my ass. Badass inside the van, slamming the door. And before Xander helped drag my fat ass inside the van, slamming the door closed after me. Okay, it made an instantaneous launch forward, then another which quickly dissolved my war cry into a terrified shriek. I backpedaled and threw the stick at the thing's face in a panic before Xander helped drag my fat ass inside the van, slamming the door closed after me. Okay, that is very good. Ooh. Okay, so I expanded it from 5 to 7, and we're still at the same spot. Um, I'm not exactly proud about leaving Calv to that. But I wasn't. But I don't think. I don't think any sane human being on the planet would be interested in fight off a giant spider. Nothing but a bit of stick. We could hear to the van. Rapid tapping. Followed by rapid tapping. It helps in around its face. Quickly finding the handle and the handle and Chewed up duel. Both made a lunge to grab. Both made a lunge to grab the inside handle. As it grab the handle and begin to wrench the door open. And its fangs then begin violently trying to wrench the door open. Okay, realizing the swap to ripping at the between body of the van. And attempt to pry the door. Okay, you can just sort of rush up to the sliding door of the van, followed by rapid tapping. You explode the door with pedipalps and fangs around its face, quickly finding a handle and chewed door seal. Zeno both made a lunge to grab the inside handle. As he grabbed the outside handle. Handle and its fangs began violently trying to wrench the door open. Realizing the handle wouldn't budge, it swapped to ripping at the slight gap between the door panel and body of the van and attempts to pry the door clear off. The it's a slight glisten of as it actually as they actually penetrated. Through the gap in the door. Into the vehicle. Okay. Okay, I could barely make out the slight glisten of his fangs in the low light as they actually penetrated through the gap in the door and sprayed a stream of venom into the vehicle. Catching my pant leg. I was afraid that the venom wasn't. Necrotic and held the door. Okay. Oh. I was afraid that the venom wasn't necrotic and held the door. After a bit of fighting, it gave up trying to fight its way Van with us and its scuttle back over to I forgot his name, Kevin. Alright, see here, Xander and I called through the back of the van. Crawled our to try and track it through the back windows. Unfortunately, we're fighting with the thing. Right from the van. Abreast of the back tail lights. Couldn't actually see Cav through the windows. Uh, 10 feet away. And crawling to the front. The best view I could get was from the. Couldn't actually see kept to the back and calling to the front passenger seat. The best view I could get was from the reflection of the side mirror. Clutching his hands. Back arched. Back arched weirdly in the throes of an throes of neurotoxic shock. Back arched weirdly in the throes of neurotoxic shock. Partway done. Long legs too carefully. Tear a line down the back of his shirt. Ah. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna. Ooh, how beautiful do we want to be? No, you know what? I want it not actually be described here. Wouldn't. Okay, so I think I should have it drag Kev right next to the door and have it like process them, and so that they hear all the processing happen in this first interaction. Then you get like the whole camp thing, the spider attack, and then when the next death happens, when Xander gets eaten, that's where you see it completely like very carefully strip his clothes off, and then it like eats him alive and like chews him up and everything. I want to save the reveal of how it has to extraordinarily chew people in order to process them before it actually puts them in the mouth. I want that entire scene to be when Xander dies, not when Kevin dies. Kevin is going to be like, oh, it's a horror thing. It preys on people. And then this is where kind of shit hits the fan and things start going sideways. The climax of the body horror and stuff, I want to keep to Xander. I want to keep it a little bit mysterious on how it actually eats people. That way I'm not like reiterating stuff that's already been shown in a previous scene when Xander gets eaten. Okay, after a bit of fighting, given his fight, trying to fight his way into the van with us, and we could hear it scuttle back over the cabin. Crawl our way back to the back to try and track it through the back windows. Fortunately, we wouldn't have any Kev or as it picked him up and dragged him back over to just outside. Yeah, that would be the passenger. The sliding door, I believe on hippie vans, it is. Yeah, the sliding door is on the passenger side, correct? Yeah, on most like service or hippie vans, the sliding door is traditionally on the right side. So yeah, it would be on the passenger side. It wouldn't be on the. It would not be on the left side. It would be on the right side, so the passenger side. So yeah, it would be. We wouldn't have any chance to see Kev or much of the spider as I picked him up and dragged him back over to just inside the passenger side sliding door. Passenger side. Sliding door. Try to maneuver a bit. Watch it. But I could make out legs and abdomen. It dragged. Then maneuvered its body to block the side mirror. Block the side mirror with. Honestly, I'm kind of thankful. I didn't get to what it did to Kev. Oh yeah, I tried to maneuver a bit towards the front of the van to watch it, but most I could make with Most I could make out was its legs and abdomen. It dragged Kevin into a blind spot, then maneuvered its body to block the side mirror view with its ass. That's his ass while it started eating. Honestly, I'm kind of thankful I didn't get to watch what it did to Kev. I can make out. Ba 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 ba. Make out some slight moaning from coming just outside the door as it began. Shuffling his body around on the ground. The dragging. By a sharp tearing noise. Start of the off of its paralyzed victim. I guess a slight warning of Kevin just decided to wear it again. As it begins shuffling his body around on the ground, the dragging sound was quickly replaced by a sharp tearing noise as it transitions to start carefully tearing the clothes off of its paralyzed victim. Tearing, more shuffling. Then the much as it started removing. Okay, then the tearing, more shuffling, then much deeper tearing of jean fabric as it started removing his pants. It felt like an eternity. The thing, let's see. Lackadaisically. Okay. Good. Okay, lazy. Idle shiftless lethargically. Christians. Ooh, listlessly. Okay, it felt like an eternity sat in that van with that thing listlessly processing Kevin just a few feet away from us. Just listening to it and imagining. On outside. Okay, seeing. I thought it was going to spin him up. Okay, seeing as it was bad, I thought I was gonna spin him up in a web and store him for later. Or maybe. His organs out. Right there. At the time, I didn't connect. By something. Whatever, strip its prey. The answer is obvious. I just didn't make the connection. I just didn't make the connection until the crunching started. Okay, so I'm going to probably call it there. Ooh, I'm like kind of really tired tonight. Okay. I'm probably gonna do more of the second draft, probably off stream, just to get through the main like horror detail of him getting eaten, and then progress into more of the actual trail stuff. The trail stuff of going boom boom and then making a wrong turn. I'll do more of the trail stuff on stream. I kind of do want to avoid a little bit of the other shit. So yeah, that's gonna be it for stream. I'm gonna call it a night there. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed and have a great night. Bye bye.